As rightly quoted by Lucretius, a man is what he eats. The importance of having a healthy diet and lifestyle is now the need of the hour in this fast paced world. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Radhika Kadam, pursuing MSc Nutrition and Dietetics from Symbiosis Institute of Health Sciences, is your host for this session. Let's move ahead with the second session on the topic Precision Nutrition, the way forward for personalized nutrition. This session will focus on the growing field of personalized nutrition and its potential to prevent and manage lifestyle related diseases. To shed light on this topic, we have amongst us Dr. A. Sreekumar. Sir, I request you to please come onto the stage. Sir is a highly accomplished medical professional with an extensive expertise in the field of wellness. Sir has worked with the father of nutrigenomics, Professor Michael Finch in Australia. He was inspired with the group's work and developed his interest in personalized nutrition. Sir is the founder of Wellness Solutions, Kochi, Kerala. He holds several distinguished positions, including the Director of Nutrigenomics Private Limited, President of the Indian Nutritional Medical Association, and the founder of several esteemed healthcare institutions, including BioWell Hospital, Dr. Sri Integrative Functional Medicine Hospital, Kochi, Saukhya Foundation, Wellness Solutions, and Nutrigenomics. He is a fellow of the Australasian College of Nutritional and Environmental Medicine and holds the life membership and past presidency positions in prestigious medical associations. With his wealth of knowledge and experience, Sir is a respected figure in the healthcare field and has made significant contributions to the advancements of nutrigenomics and functional medicine practices. Without any further delay, I request Sir to lead to the session. Over to you, Sir. Thank you.
So good morning to all of you. And I know that after a wonderful basic foundation for the future of nutrition and also the future of health, and I think I have to take you to something different, especially he has talked about something from the basics from the research laboratory. Now I am facing the patient and I have to deliver this to the patients or the people's perspective. So, as he was rightly mentioned, I have been taken aback by involving nutrition into my practice, and I can see wonderful results coming up, so which made me actually do the back research. Then I found out so many things, so that is even driving me today. Because in nutrition is a subject in medicine, I know. I think a lot of doctors who are sitting here also know, but maybe they might have skipped the class or slept in the class. But today, if you are asking me, I am learning this for the last 20 years. Especially, I started this journey 2002. Till that time, I was basically into various aggressive field of medicine, especially in the head and neck plastic surgery. I do all the Susruta steps in rhinoplastic surgery, and also in various head and neck cancer, because I have been trained in Mumbai, especially from the Tata Memorial for that. And then I realized that is not the end point, and I have to switch back to something really basic, because when I reached cochlear implant, I understood that, okay, that is not the answer. The answer lies something really behind, that is in the nutrition, and that is something which is happening in the, basically at the level of every person. Because we do a lot of medicines, we do a lot of surgeries, but unfortunately the patient is suffering. This is what all of you are seeing today. So the medical world is in a crossroad. As everything revolutionizes, medical revolution is the thing. Because now I lecture in Johns Hopkins and other institutes all over the world. I know very well that all the world it is changing to integrative, functional, or you can say precision medicine. So precision medicine is nothing but, so that is where I am coming at with maybe what is happening, especially with a lot of developments in the technology, science, and all these things. What you're seeing is different. You can see the number. 64 million people are living with heart failure worldwide. 537 million people are living with type 2 diabetes. 850 million people are living with chronic kidney disease. 230 million people will be affected by non-alcoholic steatohepatosis. That means non-alcoholic liver cirrhosis and liver cancer. 17.9 million lives will be lost to cardiovascular disease in 2019. So why all these things if you have advanced that much? Lot of questions to be answered. Technology is good, medicine is good, knowledge is good, enormous hard work. And so I think as a doctor or as a unit of healthcare, you can see that we have forgotten something from the basics. So why this modern healthcare, despite all these things, fails? We can see that most medical treatments were designed with average patient in the mind. So we had a lot of variables today, looking at blood glucose. So the challenge is, what is the normal blood sugar? Nobody knows. Your blood sugar is your blood sugar. It is not the average. I have seen people living with 450 blood sugar. A high court judge collapsed in the chair because he took medicine. When the blood sugar went below 430, he collapsed. So then they gave sugar solution, he came up. So he came to me, I found that his metabolic balance was right. I said, you don't need any medication. So the values of biochemistry are differing. It is not right. Because biochemistry never happens in the blood, it happens inside your cell. So you have to understand that we are still in the dark if you look into the serum or blood sample for all this test and all these things. And if you look into Mahatma Gandhi, what is his normal blood pressure? It was about 200 by 100. Nobody could answer why he is living with 200 by 100 with no medications. And maybe somebody was telling about the keto diet. I will say he is the number one keto diet example. Became the world power. But only thing is that nobody can be dedicated like him. So you have to be something different. So we know that each person is unique. So where we live, our genetic makeup, our family, medical history, and our lifestyle, all these things are changing. So you have to say, based on that, that is why you cannot give a diet for any disease. I know that most of the dietitians give diet, particularly in the hospital, for disease that will never work. And you have to look at the person as a whole. Today, the process of merging precision medicine and precision prevention is, in preventing health, is giving the incipient evidence of the another game-changing vision, that is wellness genomics. So that is going to be applying especially how to stay well with the most important genetic expression, which should be predicted to achieve the goals beyond healthcare. The modern healthcare will go much, much beyond because we are developing so fast. So with this, I just put up a case study here because this is one of the case which I have seen. I have more than 10,000 or 20,000 cases like this. This is a 43-year-old lady came with breast cancer at 8 centimeter diameter, fungating ulcerative growth on the right breast. She was not willing for any surgery, for any chemotherapy or radiation. So no hospital should take the patient for any treatment. Somebody directed, so she came to me. So we do that. She came to me in January 2014. We have a management system where we call the precision wellness management, where we never look at the disease, we only look at the health and improve the health. And this is what we do. We do assessment, awareness, the nutrigenomics for preparing the patient. So you cannot treat, but you can prepare the patient for surgery. Instead of preoperative chemotherapy or radiation, we have given adequate nutrients intervention. Then conventional hospitals don't take the case for surgery without any preoperative chemotherapy. But because I was in the surgical field, so a lot of hospitals and surgeons who are my friends, they took her. They did surgery, simple mastectomy, and with multiple lymph node picking. So this done in April 2014. The patient was in the hospital only for 5 days. She was discharged with all these things. And last follow-up is in January 2023. And that means after 9 years, she is keeping well, working in the top position in IT company. And quality added life in years without much of medical intervention, surgical intervention was, so it's an integrative nutritional approach, or you can say the wellness approach, which is going to become the, it is a one case which I am saying. I have people who are living more than 18 years now because I have started this 20 years back. So it is not only in India, but all over the world it is there. So the number of things that is coming up, so how we do and what we are doing, that is made the difference. So we know that healthcare is also evolving as well as in any other field. It should be the most practical medicine. That is why allopathy medicine has been considered as good, unlike Ayurveda, because strict regime on diet and other things. In modern medicine, you go there, take some medicine, and you are off. But today, nothing. You say do this, a lot of restrictions, and this cannot work. So simple general practice to specialty, super specialty, and disease specialization, and finally, we can say we are into robotic surgery, robotics and everything, and laser and all those things. But in the end, what happened? You are living with fear, anxiety, and tension. This is the base for all disease. Everybody has got fear, everybody is anxious, and everybody is tensed. And you can see about non-communicable lifestyle disease, which you see today. It is not communicable, but you are getting it. Then communicable, I say lifestyle disease because it is because of this we are getting communicable disease like even the latest pandemic. So we can see there is improvement in diagnosis, pharmaceutical, surgery, and technology, but nothing is improving the function of a human being. So for that, we have to say it should be, because this has been a dream of a doctor to give personalized medicine, which has never come. Only because the easiest way is to diagnose a blood sugar and give medicine. 1 minute job. So that is the problem. That is what happened with modern medicine today. So precision and health is going to become the personalized health. So some of the things that is very, very significant here is non-communicable lifestyle disease, various disorders it come as metabolic disorders, immunity disorders, and mental disorder. These are the three areas where you are actually seeing a big problem today because everybody is going hunting from hospital to hospital with no relief. And communicable disease, you can see infectious disease with bacteria and other things. Then comes epidemics and pandemics from the virus. Why we cannot match virus? Virus is changing its mRNA composition every day. So you can call it as an exosome. But what about human being? We are much superior to that. Why can't you change your RNA or DNA pattern so that you can resist the disease? But because we are blocking it. By a lot of things we are blocking it by our lifestyle, by our medication, and by our knowledge. So we have to rewind all those things. So fast world. So we know that we are living in a fast world. So that is why fast food has come. But this is if you want to drive your car at the greatest speed, what do you need? You need every part to be fit and strong. So that is why precision has to be there. Otherwise, it will not work. So need precision in physiology. Physiology is the function. If you want the precision in physiology, you have to have the precision in biochemistry. So actually today's medical intervention should be not pharmacology, but clinical application of biochemistry. Then comes nutrition as a great player there. So precision nutrition and precision health comes. Precision nutrition can only uphold the precision medicine, and personalized health is the destination. And if you have the personalized precision health is the destination, you should have an action plan basically with the precision nutrition. So you can see it involves approaches that everyone can do on their own. It is not a doctor's job or a nutritionist's job. You have to educate the general public. So that is the most important thing, without which, I used to tell, because if a paracetamol brings down fever, it is because you know that your mind knows that it will bring down fever. That is why. Otherwise, it cannot bring down. So you have to explain this. You have to make this understand. And all the science behind you have to know. When you say it, why sometimes you are not happy with one doctor? Because that doctor is not showing the authority or not showing that body language that he is. When I was doing the first surgery, I initially started with my cardiac surgery in Trivandrum Medical College. So the professor stood behind. and asked me, can you guarantee his life back? I said, yes. Not like this, with full blast. And then only he said, you take the knife. Then I was about to put my knife onto the body. He said, suppose you are the patient, will you use this knife? That's the time I looked at the knife. Then he said, okay, you have to look. Maybe you are the best surgeon in the world, best doctor in the world, but you will get the worst result if you are using a bad or worse equipment. So you have to be careful. Anything, whatever is the type of person, whatever things you are using, you have to be precise, and it should be very much. So you can see that measure the factors that are affecting genes. As the Dr. Prashant was telling, it is exercise, yoga, diet, supplements, your jobs, habits, and environment. All these are factors. And what is nutrition here? Nutrition is the interface which can tap everything. It can make it utilize on your body, or it can harm your body also. I used to say, if you give the best nutrition to a person who said, even if I eat this, I will get cancer. He or she will get cancer, 100%, because it is the same food that is causing cancer. It is the same food that is causing. But the way it is applying, who is going to give the order? It is your mind. So you have to change the mental attitude. So mental health has to be very, very strong, because when you start practicing in cancer, you can see that mental health is very poor. So you have to create hope among the patients by giving, not by giving blockers like medicines, but you are giving good nutrition. So genes to the epigenetics to action, that is what the nutrients do. You have to design programs to suit the above, that is precision health. And health and wellness team should know about the adequate tools in which you can deliver this. So this is the need of the today. You know that it's a precision nutrition, there is a need of today. And this is, it may sound like a fad diet, but supported by the National Institute of Health under the umbrella of precision medicine. But actually you are seeing a lot of omics here. So you can see that is a plate. Plate should contain all the omics. So you can see nutrigenomics, dietary habits, the toxicity, everything has to come. So metabolomics and the deep phenotyping, microbiota, and everything has to come in this plate. So it is not an easy task for prescribing a diet for a person. So you have to understand and go in depth to all these things before giving. So it depends on individuals' genetic, phenotypic, medical, nutritional, and other importance. So that is why it is very, very important to take history of everything. Everything has to come onto the paper, and you don't need any investigations for all these things. And evaluate one's DNA and microbiome, because your DNA is against 150 genes from the microbes. So it is the microbes that decide your fate. And look at the metabolic response. You are showing the metabolic response. So you can see the final intention is to pitch the specific healthy eating and nutritional guidance as per the need of the individual. So it is the need of the individual. So you cannot say that this is the diet for you. Then that is going wrong, because I have found out that nobody will follow your diet. Because you have to make adjustments so that everything fits into that personal diet. So you can see the microbes are great. In our diets, determine which type of microbes live in our digestive tract. So if you're taking good food, good bacteria will live. But today what happens? Your gut is having bad bacteria and they don't want the good food to come in, so they will allow only this. So the reverse is happening today. Microbes include bacteria, fungi, parasites, and virus. In a healthy person, they coexist peacefully. So that is why, because do you know that Clostridium tetani is living in your gut? Which can give you tetanus at any time, but this is not producing harm because the other microbes are containing them, and maybe. So all the dreadful bacteria are present in the gut and also in your mouth. Mouth is the one organ which contains everything in the atmosphere, everything around you. It will be present in your mouth, but it cannot cross that Baldur's ring. So that is your immune system, which is present just behind the mouth, around the tonsils, adenoids, and other lymphoid tissues. So in healthy person, they act peacefully throughout the body, and majority is in the gut. So if you look at the microbes, majority, 70% are living in the gut. So today you look at the speed in which you can see this happening in every city in India or every village in India. But who can work here? Even though we say we are living at great speed, but you are going in very slow because of the heavy traffic. Genes can work at any speed you need, but you need other things. Genes give the order, but your body has to execute. For that, you need things at the cellular level. That is where the nutrition and the nutrients are there. And need the basic knowledge of what is happening inside. So first thing you have to understand is what is happening inside you is the most important thing. Then you look outside. Then you can balance your body. So what is inside you? This is the basics of, I think, all of you know about cells. And your cell contain all the millions and millions of small intracellular particles there. They have a lot of jobs working for you. But whatever is there, there are only few things. You can see that starting from birth to death, birth has come as a single cell, which is there, and this is dividing into trillions of cells. Every cell contains the same DNA. And you can say that the gene is not changing, but only the expression is changing depending upon the various organs it is living. So the main job of the cell, if you really look, it is only to produce energy and protein. First you have to produce energy, then this is used for protein synthesis. And then this is being used for repair. What the cells do, they communicate. So any disease is nothing but a communication failure, any problem. So if the communication is bad, it will disturb the neighboring cells and the group of cells behave like that, then you get a disease of the organs. If you remove that organ, can you give the communication back? That is where the medicines failed. If you give a blocker, if you give a paracetamol, or if you give an anti-inflammatory, if you give an antibiotic, if you give any drug, especially in blood pressure and things, all are blocking the signals from the cells. So is that the treatment or is something you have to give? You can block it for the temporary, but in the meantime you have to understand what is happening inside and you have to feed them. So the communication, multiplication, and finally this will lead to the health and disease and finally death. But we as human beings believe that we are created separately from other animals and plants because we thought that we are very intelligent. But the real truth is what you see from outside is fake and truth is inside all these things. And that is a new whole world. So before I go into further, I have to say one of the most powerful nutrient, I will say oxygen is not a gas, it is a nutrient, which is you inhale and take in. So everybody says oxygen is very good. Oxygen has got a double-edged sword. You can see here in this diagram, this oxygen molecule is interfered by all these things in this around the atmosphere. And what is happening here that oxygen is converted into superoxide here by adding one electron. Then it takes one more electron and two hydrogen atoms to produce hydrogen peroxide. And you can see another electron, it is converted to hydroxyl radicals. And here you said one hydroxyl radical is given out, so it becomes a hydroxyl radical. And finally it takes one more electron to create water and give the hydrogen ions. So you can see that this is a natural process. But what happens today? Oxygen has got a double-edged sword because what Dr. Prashant was telling, was talking about Antoine Lavoisier. He actually invented the presence of oxygen. And he knew the character because anybody that is using oxygen will be destroyed by oxygen. If you don't know how to use oxygen. So that is why today everything fails. Yoga fails because you take in oxygen. But you don't have the hydrogen ions or electrons. So without that it will not work. If you do physical workout, then also you will fail. So you have to balance. Balance is the key. Because that is why I put up this slide to make you understand. This is actually producing reactive oxygen species and producing injure the cell, a cellular mechanism. And you can see what is happening. So this is the superoxide. Suppose superoxide accumulates in the body, then creates a problem. So that is why, because the superoxide is actually is very good because it is actually one of the essential for phagocytosis, the frontline defense mechanism. And it lowers but if it is too much, it lowers this enzyme called aconitase enzyme. And this interferes with Krebs cycle, lowers your ATP and lower your NADH. So increased superoxide is actually deal with high nitric oxide produced in the body and produces peroxynitrite, and this impair the vasodilatation, cause for heart attack, cause for diabetic vascular disease, peripheral vascular disease, everything. So you can see that until otherwise you can compromise here. No medicines, no surgery, no bypass, nothing will work here. You have to correct this chemical process that is happening here. So that is why it is better to know that this is what happens inside. So nutrigenomics, the study that affects a person's genes and how a person's genes affect the way the body responds to food. And nutrigenomics is used to learn more about how the genes and diet together work and affect a person's life in a better way. So medical health and nutritional professionals should have adequate knowledge, because I know that the first thing that I said is the origin, our history. Anyway, Dr. Prashant has very well mentioned about all the history. But I have to tell, because before man came to earth, the first organism to come is actually microbes. Bacteria came to earth. And 2.75 billion years it stayed like that. Then they started becoming smart, lived in colonies. Then why we live in colonies, we can be united. That is how multicellular organisms came. Then from there to developed and came man, supposed to be the most intelligent species of this. And what happened today is man is actually doing all the problems in this universe. And we try to overcome that by a lot of other things, but unfortunately everything is failing. So that is why you have to understand your history. Then what happens? What you are seeing today is your metabolism, is your biochemistry, hormones and pathways. So biochemistry is controlled by hormones, but who control the hormones? Hundreds of hormones. It is controlled by your mind. Actually, hormones are known as the chemical messengers of human mind. So if you want the hormones to be manufactured, you need good fat, you need good amino acids, you need good minerals. And epigenetics know, and they will decide how you perform. You do all these things, then epigenetics will actually drive the biochemistry and hormonal pathways. And something else is coming today because of our deal, toxins. Toxicology, we have to understand, all these can be blocked by toxins. So that is why maybe you have given all the best food, but patient will not respond because the toxins are there. This is why Linus Pauling failed, especially when he came out with vitamin C. He failed because he didn't address this. He failed because he didn't address the personalization. He only addressed disease, mental health, psychiatry, and some cancer. That is why he failed. So even that is why any type of medicine is failing. Even nutrition came long way back, that failed. Medicine came, now that is failing. Everything is failing. That is the problem. Toxins block all the metabolism. Disease process, the final result, and today we care only this. So we only manage, cut the disease or attack the disease, give diet for the disease. It will never work. So why target epigenetics? You have to target here, because epigenetics may be one of the most important molecular mechanisms in linking the environment to fetal programming and resulting in the adulthood. So even at the time of pregnancy, this is happening. So you have to be very careful, especially when pregnancy, this can cross the placenta and can damage. These are reversible and so attractive therapeutic targets. So therapeutic targets is not by medicine, but it is only by nutrition, or nutrients have to be given. So environment will produce epigenetic change, and that leads to health and disease, and this we give it back to the environment. So this cycle has to be understood. This is one of the most powerful biochemical picture. If you know this, you know what is happening to each and every disease of the person, health and disease. And you can see all the cycles are coming here. I don't want to go into the details of this because this is, here comes the MTHFR cycle or homocysteine cycle, here comes the folate cycle, here comes the BH4 cycle, here comes the urea cycle, and this decides your fate. And you can see I have put lead is coming here, aluminum is coming here, blocking the pathways. So your genes may be right, food may be right, but you are blocked. So you have to correct this, otherwise that is one of the reasons why the detoxification, especially somebody was talking about Ayurvedic principles of olden times. They believed in detoxification. But today, Ayurvedic detoxification will not work because all the toxins are in the cells. Ayurvedic principles at that time, they need only liver and colon detox, but today you need cellular detoxification. So you have to have a combination of these things. So this is the genome metabolism of life. So now come back to the diet. So this is the basics. That is what is happening inside you. This is the prevalence of today. DNA methylation works by adding methane chemical group to the DNA. Histone modification, and you know all these things. Non-coding RNA, your DNA is used as instructions for making coding and non-coding RNA. Only diet influence these epigenetic changes. So this is where one of the things that can come is, especially what happens, diet can modify these epigenetic changes, especially in your RNA. Because today we know that, okay, we are actually flooded with all these viruses, especially COVID. And who can correct it? It is only through proper good diet or dietary intervention that can correct this, because we have been successful in managing COVID without any medicines. Reversed, RT-PCR positive becomes negative in 2 hours time. So we have introduced a lot of programs, and even a lot of policemen in Kerala who were on the field, they were affected with COVID. We managed, starting from DGP to down to the common policeman. So we know that, okay, this costs nothing, maybe 100 or 200 rupees. So it is not something big. So the dietary intervention, the only thing is that you have to understand the biology and you have to understand what is causing it. You should not bother whether it is COVID or anything else. You manage your metabolism. You can take care of many things. So what do? One of the most important thing, I think, especially when all the government programs are there in public health, we have done programs, especially in association with the National Human Rights Commission of India, covered around 400,000 people. What we found is, you are giving all the good nutrients, but unfortunately it is not working. Why? It is not digesting. It's not going in. Iron, the typical example is, even if you give iron has to go through the stomach and small intestine. So what happens here is, there is low hydrochloric acid in the stomach. Low hydrochloric acid in the stomach will not take any minerals in. You take iron, you take magnesium, you take zinc. And for this hydrochloric acid production, you need the adequate supply of zinc in the diet. So zinc is one of the very powerful thing which we have seen. I have been giving zinc as intravenous for reversing autoimmune disease, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, type 1 diabetes and all these things. So you can see that zinc is very powerful in digestion, the first thing. Then comes the pancreatic enzymes. So behind the scene program is actually done by your digestion, pancreas and thyroid. And this is what happens. So this is the problem of what we are seeing today. So you can see that digestion is very well has to be attended. If you want to have the mitochondria for energy production, energy has to come there, and the protein manufactured by the endoplasmic reticulum as per the order from the DNA. Then this produces vibrations and signals, and this produces all the human life to work. So biochemistry controlled by hormones. So you can already see DNA is behaving like a master's role. So this picture is I put because this is very popular in West. This is actually the Krebs cycle and your energy pathway. You see all the minerals and vitamins, and without this, how can this work? You give all the diet, and if, for example, you have magnesium, potassium, B3 vitamins, vitamin C, and finally you can see the coenzyme Q10, sulfur, iron. Again, vitamin C, iron in the last, and finally again comes the copper, sulfur, and finally the last step comes the magnesium. So all these things and iron, all these are very essential for your energy production. So how much energy you want? So you need this. If you take too much of carbohydrates, you have to supply all those things. If it is not possible, then how to do it? That is the biggest challenge that we are facing. This is the functional station for your life. So you can see the various aerobics and anaerobic cycle that is happening, and Krebs cycle, amino acids, and you can see all this. So energy is used for protein synthesis, and you can see this is going into the blood, and you can see what is happening in the energy. So this is the functional station based on here, I think the nutrition has to play the big role. So we have to keep it there. Metabolic disorders, and I know very various causes, and I don't have to go into the details because if you take any disease, you can see the deficiency of vitamins and minerals coming in. So epigenetic, lot of research and studies. So these are role of nutrients, especially the mechanism of action comes here. You can see on the slide, you can see the various dietary patterns which are actually affecting at the epigenetic pathway. So you can see that when you give the adequate food, it can influence your epigenetics. So some people used to ask me about vitamin C. So vitamin C is for epigenetic reprogramming. So that is why I am using a lot of high dose cancer up to 60 to 100 grams per day to reverse cancer, and in septic shock and various shock treatment and other things. We manage successfully with all these things. So the research and everything behind this is actually it works at the epigenetic level. Again, review on various publications which you can see in various nutrients working at in the cancer level. Curcumin is a very powerful natural product, herbal product, but now we can say the curcumin is the active ingredient of turmeric, and it is acting at the methylation. That means it all works at the genetic or epigenetic level, where the drugs will never work here. It can never go there. Again, you can see a lot of studies, especially various things, especially EECG and EGCG, resveratrol, and all being shown very good results, and plenty of studies, population control study, and butyrate was the another food-derived substance shown to affect post-translational modifications. So all these studies are given at the epigenetic level. So this again is a vitamin B12's role, especially in Journal of Biochemistry, especially which has been published. So exposomes and health, I already read about the toxicity. Lead is very much, this is affecting the DNA methylation. That is why you are not able to cover or reverse disease with the medicines and other things. You have to pump in a lot of nutrients to cover it. Alzheimer's disease, which is actually not only Alzheimer's, multiple sclerosis and other epilepsy and other conditions, we were using a lot of things, especially lead is responsible. And demethylation changes affected by the prenatal toxic exposure. This again was a published thing. Food chemical toxicology, I think again you can see the BPA plastics coming in a big role. So any water and other things that is being transferred through the plastics is actually affecting you in the long term. IDH gene mutation, which is found in various types of brain tumors, which we have been successful in managing or integrating management. And food medicine, you have to look into the refloralization, especially this is actually very essential in the especially post-COVID vaccination, because people who are vaccinated, you have to have adequate flora, otherwise you are going for trouble. So bioactive diet, that is what you have to I think concentrate, especially working at the genetics, geography, habit, job, natural challenges, packaged products, environmental challenge, disease. So a lot of, you can see the modern dietary advice based on all these things. You can see the folate, choline, betaine, and other B vitamins particularly have a big role. So nutrition status and everything has to be understood from here. So epigenetic is affected by the genes, by the various food. Especially this can be very much, this is a lot of things, interaction with the drugs and the nutrients. These are all diet influencing epigenetics. So you can see types of diet that you can prescribe, especially which will be affecting your various things. Optimize the nutritional level. And finally, prebiotics and probiotics is the big role. So precision health is finally the need of the hour. Precision medicine through precision nutrition. That could be the most important thing, and precision health is our aim. So I think the most important people for that is, so the doctors and the nutritionists has to join hands. There is no other way to help the future of this present scenario that we are seeing today. So that is why nutrigenomics. So your gene, so nutrition for your genetic expression. So this will help in my mitochondria and also in the nucleus and DNA pathways. So this is how we do. This is what are the procedures that we used to do. So I first educate, then we do the genometabolic assessment, then we do the genometabolic therapy by detoxification, epigenetic diet, dietary supplements, and others like physical, mental empowerment. Then conventional medical therapy if required, what are things. Then we have a monitoring system. We develop markers from all these assessment. We take in the markers and we follow these markers for this. So we finally add the quality added life in years, and that is the real optimal health. And so I am not bothered about disease. I am only bothered about health. If health is good, disease will never surface. That is what I have seen, because I used to tell in most of the cancer this thing. So if you really look into the PET CT scan of every person sitting in this room, you can see 90% has cancer, whole body scan. So why you want to do it? You don't have to do it. You should not bother about all these things. All this may be there, but your body has the power to stop everything, every process at any time. So only thing is that you should have adequate knowledge of all these things. And without this knowledge, you cannot deliver this to the people. So thank you very much for your patience.
I know that there will be many questions in your mind, but sadly, due to paucity of time, we can't take questions at the moment. But I'm sure you can connect to Sir during the tea break. Thank you so much, Sir, for enlightening us on the power of personalized nutrition. And to felicitate Sir, I invite Dr. Girija Mahale, psychiatrist and head Symbiosis Center for Emotional Wellbeing, onto the stage.